What's up guys, this is Chris, and today after a very interesting coaching call I had with a client, I decided to make a video about a topic, about something that if you understand it and if you follow up on the practice I'm going to give you together with this explanation, is going to change your life drastically. It's going to improve your life massively. And to give you a little bit more of an idea, like be a little bit more specific about what results you could expect. If you understand and follow this practice, you are going to feel lighter, you're going to feel more like yourself, you're going to feel more free and more happy. And you might be getting curious. The thing that I want to talk about is the mistake that people do when something feels like it is a specific way to them, but they don't really understand how things are in real life objectively, actually. And the problem with that is that people have all those ideas, these beliefs, these statements, these quote unquote truths in their minds. Unconsciously, they don't even know about them. And the problem is that those are limiting them from so many things, like connecting with people, like it limits them from pursuing their goals, it limits them from expressing their desires, it limits them from finding love, finding intimacy, a partner, just like everything. These unconscious ideas, these unconscious statements and beliefs, they limit you from so many things. And that's because you take them, they feel to you as if they're true, and that makes you unconsciously live by them as if they're rules for life. And what do I mean by that? Let's make it a little bit more specific with an example that is a very common pattern. It's a very, very common pattern that I've seen so many times in clients, friends, family, everyone I know. Pretty much everyone I've ever met has experienced this in one way or another, more or less at some point. And this is the statement that I do not deserve other people's love. And that's just an example. Just picked it because it's very common. So you might hear this right now. I actually tell you, the viewer, I'm telling you this statement: you do not deserve other people's love. And as you hear it, it might sound strange, but it might hit something in you. It might feel, this statement, as you hear it, it might feel to you like it is true to some extent. So you could even do this right now. You could close your eyes, repeat this in your head, and ask yourself, how true does this statement feel to me right now? You will actually get a number, like on a scale from 0 to 10. If you ask this question, how true does this feel, 0 to 10 to me, you might get an answer. I'm just going to write a random number, like 7 out of 10. And the problem is that if this feels true to you to some extent, it means that this is your reality, basically. This is how you feel, how you behave. Your actions are getting filtered through this statement, through these beliefs. And now you probably logically already know this, but just because you feel that way, just because it feels like this is true to you to some extent, it doesn't mean that objectively, in reality, this is true. And to help you a little bit to understand the difference between what something feels like and between what something is in reality, I'm going to make a list here, just make this a little bit more clear. So when something feels like it, this is subjective. Obviously, I mean, I guess this is pretty clear. It's partial. It's not absolute. And it's temporary. These are going to get a little bit more clear in just a minute. It's in the moment. Okay? And when something is a specific way, this is objective. It's complete. It's a complete truth. It's absolute. And timeless. Now, I mean, those are all kind of the same. But when I say it feels right now, I mean, this is how it should be. It feels like I don't deserve people's love. Sometimes this is how it should be, but people actually have this in their heads as absolute truth. But that doesn't mean that they are. It feels like I don't deserve people's love, and I do or I don't deserve people's love are two very, very different statements. So one of them can be like objective, it's a complete absolute truth that is always right. But when you feel like something is a specific way, this might change, it might be different tomorrow. And it's a partial and subjective truth, it's not complete. And the problem is that people might logically know something, but emotionally it feels a different way. And this can be very frustrating, this can be very confusing, because you're telling yourself, but it should be in this way, but it makes sense that it would be this way, but it doesn't feel like it. It's like my reality, my experiences, my whatever is happening to me doesn't show me that. And this can be very confusing, very frustrating. It can create a lot of stress, this distance in your logical and your emotional understanding. And to make this even more clear, let's say that this, I'm just going to draw it. This is objective reality. This is how things are. And what it feels like is actually a little part of that. It's like a little bubble. And you live your life inside that bubble. And you don't experience whole reality. You don't experience all those wonderful things that are out here. You just experience the very limited world of the bubble, thinking that this bubble is everything that there is. Okay, so how do we fix that? How do we find all those unconscious quote-unquote truths that feel true to you, and then change them, or how do you say, sort of like update them so that you know and feel what reality is like, what objective actual reality is like, and then you can live this wider life, this more complete life. We do this with 3 steps. First of all, you have to identify what those are. So you have to identify what those limiting beliefs, what those statements are in your mind. You need to take some time and some space aside by yourself, just close your eyes, sit down, relax, and do some introspection. Look back in your past, look back in your life, look in your recent experiences, in your older experiences. Look into all these things that you're afraid of, that might be true, that you're insecure about. Look at all those fears, all those things that you wish they could be different. And just make a list of those quote-unquote truths inside your mind. I do not deserve other people's love. Or it could be like an if. If I do this, then this horrible thing will happen, or then this bad thing happens. Like another example from coaching that I had with a client. If I don't impress other people, then I don't deserve their love. That was a real example, real life example. And that meant that my client would unconsciously fall into behaviors of trying to prove himself, trying to prove his worth, of trying to impress others, because he believed that he wouldn't be worth of their attention, their love, those positive, nice emotions, or intimacy from women. And that would be basically his life. And then by the end of the practice and the call, we realized that this is not a necessity. It is not an absolutely true statement that you do need to impress others in order to deserve love. So anyway, first step is to identify those beliefs and those statements. Second step is to feel and rate how true does this statement feel. So you repeat this in your mind, and then you ask yourself, on a scale from 0 to 10, how true does this feel? You're gonna get a number. You're gonna get a rate. You're gonna rate it. And then the third step, and here's where there is a little hidden trap, but I'm going to tell you how to get over that. You examine if this statement is, examine if it is true or not. And this is very simple. When something is like this is a simple, very clear yes or no answer. Something either is true or isn't. So you're going to take this statement, and here is what the little trap is, and you ask yourself, is this statement, is this belief, this idea in my head, is this true, yes or no? It can be anything else. It can either be only yes or no. And the trap is that you don't do this logically, you don't do this with your thoughts, with your mind, you don't just, yeah, I guess it makes sense that it isn't true. This is the logical answer. No, because you need to make this shift emotionally, which means that you need to feel with your whole body the answer. You need to feel with all your whole state of being, your whole body. You just close your eyes, relax, and let the answer arise from the body and not from the head, not from the thoughts, not from the mind. And this is how you gradually start shifting this emotional perspective, and you start dissolving this bubble. So you do the third step, and you examine and you feel and you ask yourself, is this true or not? Your body is going to accept one answer more than the other. Let's say it's not true. Your body is going to start feeling like no is a more acceptable answer than yes. And you're going to start leaning more and more towards a definite answer, towards a clear, solid yes or no. And what you do is you repeat step number 2. And then you cycle between those 2 steps. You ask again yourself at step number 2, you go back, you ask yourself, how true does this feel to me right now? You're going to find out, if you do this properly, you're going to find out that this has diminished. It's like 5 out of 10. You're going to go back to step number 3. You're going to do the same thing. You're going to sit down, close your eyes, relax. You're going to ask yourself again. You're going to ask your body, basically, your full self, your full body, is this statement true, yes or no? And you're going to accept only one of those 2 answers. Your body is going to start leaning more and more towards one of them. You're going to go back to step number 2. You're going to find that this has diminished even more. And you're going to repeat until you find out that it will go all the way down to 0. And that's when you have completely dissolved this bubble. And now, what you know and what you feel and what is are all the exact same. And there is no confusion in your mind. You repeat this process, you repeat those 2 steps for one of those statements until you have a clear, solid, 100%, not even 99%, just a completely clear, a completely solid yes or no, 100% yes or 100% no, and nothing else. And that's when you've dissolved the bubble completely, and now you have a full, complete, absolute perspective of what reality is. You might find out that no, I do deserve people's love, or that I don't need to impress people to deserve other people's love, or that I don't need to try to avoid a specific behavior in order to be accepted by others. Like so many different examples that you could bring up about this. Just repeat the process. It's very simple, very straightforward. You just repeat it again and again until you feel fully that this statement is either true or not. And this is pretty much it. If you have questions, please leave them in the comments below. And if you're interested in coaching, because for some people this is hard to do by themselves, one-on-one coaching is actually available, and there's gonna be a link about that in the description below. If you guys like the content, if you find this useful, Please help me grow the channel, help me reach more people, like and subscribe. This is it for me, guys. Until next time, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you.